Popularly known as Oga John Bosco, and you're welcome to my podcast show. And today, live in the studio, I have a very wonderful guests in the studio. So, sir, please, what's your name?
My name is Okungbowa Paul Obuha.
Okungbowa Paul. So, you want to be governor of Edo State?
Yes, I do.
Why?
I don't consider what has been in place in our leadership space result-oriented since for the past 16 years. I don't consider them working at all.
At all?
At all.
Okay. So that's why you want to become a governor, or rather the governor of Edo State.
When I say at all, I don't mind words.
Okay.
I mean it when I say at all. If it was sufficient, I wouldn't even be in the race. I think there has been gross maladministrations for the past 16 years, and I think generations of mine are more savvy to make corrections of the issues that bother the lives of our people.
Okay, now you are running for the post of the governor. Under which of the party, please?
The Young Progressives Party. The YPP is a social democratic party, and of course, it's the party that is currently not fighting. Of course, you know that there's so much infighting within the political parties just now. And when fights of this sort subsist, it means there's no resources that is plundered into this battle. And the YPP is an idea-based party. The YPP is the young people's party. The YPP is that party that resonates with the requirements of those who protested ab initio in 2019, asking for lives and Nigeria to get better by force. The only thing here is that we got tired of saying and complaining. We decided to get actionable into the race itself. What better way to clean up a house rather than get into the house?
Okay, let me ask you now, Mr. Governor, did you try PDP, APC, Labour Party, all those parties? Did you try them?
I was a member of the Labour Party.
Okay.
I joined the Labour Party in the wake of the Peter Obi presidential move.
Yeah.
I saw it like a new thing, the possibility that a new Nigeria was to be birthed, and I needed to be part of it.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing it because of selfish interest, because I wanted to contest office, but I was doing it because I felt like this is an opportunity for my children not to suffer what I suffered. And so I joined through the YPP. But if you ask me, there won't have been any point going through the APC or the PDP. I had been a member of the APC when it was ACN. And the best I could tell you is that these political parties have been dollarized, they've been commercialized. The men and women who hold rims, who hold sway in these political parties you've just mentioned just now are only here for the sake of the control of the people's resources. And that's why they are fighting tooth and nail. They are not fighting because somebody in office is not doing well. They are not actually accusing the person, much as we agree that the person is not doing well. We are not hearing the fight is on because somebody stole certain money and another person is trying to drag the person to public glare. They are fighting because they want to control the people's resources.
Okay, so that's why you chose YPP.
Yes.
Okay, now YPP, you want to become the governor of Edo State, but so what are your plans when, or let me say, what are your plans if you become governor of the state?
When I walked into this room, I counted a total of 11 young men, with the exception of you and myself. And the least I could say was that these guys were within their 20s or early 30s. And what I saw also were a bunch of guys who are very tech savvy and were putting creativity into works. But the larger majority of this age demographic are away. A vast majority of the persons born between the late 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000 and 2005 today do not have any sense of projection, because those who have had the rims of power before now have not done necessarily what you could say projected infrastructure, whether cerebral, financial or government infrastructure, that they could drive their ideas on as a vehicle to have economic prosperity or whatever form that brings them joy in the near future goals. And so I see a generation that is going to waste, and I do not feel it's appropriate for me to sit aloof and watch when I feel or know that I can do something about it.
Okay, so how old are you?
I'm 40.
40.
How old are you?
Me, I'm 30.
Good.
So now you want to be my governor?
Yeah.
At this age? I don't know. Don't you think you are too young to be a governor?
Okay, let me ask a question, Decent.
Yeah.
One of the best performing governors that Edo State has had, by public opinion, is the likes of late Samuel Ogbemudia of blessed memory. How do you think Samuel Ogbemudia was when he was military administrator of Edo State?
I have no idea.
I'm sure you don't know. He was 35 years old.
Wow.
Yes. How do you think Gowon was when he took over the reins of leadership of Nigeria? 33. How do you think Chief Tony Nauru was when he raised the motion for independence? Is it Ascent? It is not a question of age. It is a question of the transient movement of time. You see, there is a particular message delivered by a messenger for a particular generation. If you are delivering that same message as a messenger to a different generation, you'll be making less impact. You see, the political atmosphere just now dictates that young people should stand up and take over the realms of leadership, because those who have left them have not led them anywhere, but they've led them into economic comatose. And then you see the economic space consistently, our political space is afloat with men and women who are powerful, with backgrounds, people you could best describe as the aristocrats and the plutocrats. And then they come to campaign and say they want to deliver the dividends of democracy to the ordinary people. But check the history of Edo State. They got wealthier and the people remain where they are, even got worse. Take, for example, the stormwater project that Edo State embarked some 30 billion naira for some nearly 14 years ago under the administration of Madam Saliu Shomole. And of course, that ecological fund was facilitated by the current governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki. Are you satisfied with erosion control for the past 14 years?
Not really.
Good. So what happened? Is it that money wasn't deployed, or ideas weren't deployed, or simply money was wasted? You see, there are a lot of questions that my generation is asking. My generation only said just now, I want to put out the toga representing these voices. And like, I'm telling myself, we can do it better. My generation is known for a lot of smart enterprise. Today, the world of the entertainment industry is not longer what it used to be. When the likes of Ken Ogungbe and KKD1 were running entertainment, as it were, it was just, in the hands of some young guys who were already elders too. But today, what's happening to our entertainment space? It's become a $1 million, $1 billion streaming industry because young creative minds have gotten their pride of place. And so when you put young creative minds in leadership, so as long as they are not the year below, they will definitely yield results. Because time and time, I've proven over time again that the best of man is in his youthfulness. There are some things you used to be very savvy at when you were in your 20s, and I bet that in your 30s, that capacity gradually eludes you. And so there are certain things I can't compete with you on now that I'm 40 and you are 30. It will be foolishness for me to want to cascade into that environment with you, because it is where it's your green area for now. So I have to find my green area. So for those who are way older, who have not brought ideas and sterling qualities into leadership, they should be at the cadet of playing the advisory role so that my generation can do what God has gifted them with.
Okay, Mr. Paul Okungboa, where have you been all these years?
I've been in Edo State. I've been around.
Okay.
I'm not to seem like I'm trying to be boisterous or to gloat, but I think I'm more popular than the three political party flag bearers of APC, PDP, and Labour Party.
How? Explain, please.
Well, when you put a monkey in an Escalade, the monkey becomes very famous because it's riding an Escalade. If you put Albert Einstein in a Volkswagen, people may not pay attention to him, and that's actually what we're trying to erode just now. If we had the pride of place to be in a vehicle that is bigger than the vehicle currently on just now, of course, we're not afraid to steer this ship anyway, but I think we'll be much more prominent. I've been around long enough to have produced a sitting judge in Edo State. I've been around long enough to have produced medical doctors, accountants, and engineers and entertainers. The popular Nigerian musician called Rema was a product of is a product of my product. And the likes of skit makers like Sidney Tucker, Nasty Black were my students. The likes of Wheezy were my students. The likes of Buffy were my students. And I've been long around to have mentored and molded a lot of young persons whom I have always told never to indulge in fraud. But you see, the masm that greeted the airs just now is a school and a scam. And I grew tired of telling them theoretically to keep studying their books. Meanwhile, what is available to them just now is fraud. So I'm here to actually tell them, okay, let's go take over this leadership thing together and do for ourselves what has been much more needed all this while. So I've been around that sense. I've been a household name. I'm the convener of the popular lecture center called Gorilla Brains. I'm also a school proprietor. I'm the proprietor of Cavalry Crown Academy. And I do my business also. I own a car wash. I own 3 car washes. I own a restaurant. I do a lot of other things, I have a laundry spot. So,
okay, let me just, how many, what's your staff strength base like?
Before I turned 40, I already had more than 515 staff network.
Here in Edo State?
Yeah, and they are taxpayers here. Ask your governorship candidates in the other political parties what is their employability strength, and if they do have, where do they pay tax? Like the PDP guy said, he has 100 and something lawyers. They're in Lagos. Bao and the Udalo chambers, they're in Lagos. They don't contribute to the GDP of Edo State.
So you have, like, you want to tell me now that you have over 500 staffs?
I have 5 schools, 21 lecture centers, 1 restaurant, 1 bakery, 3 car washes, 3 laundry outfits. You name it. Cows are not working there. They're humans.
Well, all in Edo State here.
Yeah.
That's amazing, I must say. The gorilla brain is amazing. So over the years, you must have raised lots of, like you mentioned Sidney Tucker, you mentioned Wheezy, mentioned
Justice Izegbe Badin of the Edo State Magistrates Court was my former student. The doctors that delivered my wife of my twin, by the way, I'm an identical twin. I'm also a father of twins.
Twin?
Yeah, I got twin babies too.
You have to share that twins for me. I like twins.
It's all right.
I want twins.
But right now, the cost of baby milk is gone up. That's
No
you have to be careful.
God will help us.
Be careful, that's it. God will help us. The doctors that delivered my twins of my babies, they greeted and introduced themselves in the hospital and like, sir, don't you know me? I'm like, sorry, I wouldn't say I don't know you. So I was your student some years ago. You see, I feel very entitled that I have contributed to what today is lingering the length and breadth of Edo State as intellectual properties, and of course men and women who are today parents and then they are thriving. If you put my works on a scale, it will baffle you the length and breadth of the souls that I have interfaced with directly as a person.
Okay, now, I know how it is very stressful, you need so much money to run for a political position in Nigeria in this current age. So how's the journey been for you so far? Like, has it been starting from you getting the form to run from your party? I don't know how much it costs in your party. From the form to getting people, to getting posters, to getting billboards, radio ads, everything. How's the journey been? Are you not tired?
No. Every day I feel fired to continue. Now let me correct an impression. You started by saying that it's expensive to run politics. Yeah, I agree that it's expensive. But that's placing, setting the altars wrongly. Now here's what has been happening. Something that a lot of persons are not really awoken to. We're trying our best to now add to that school of thoughts and expand that thought process as well. Is that leadership selection process is not supposed to be expensive as it is. Yes. The reason it's expensive is that nitwits and those who have made money, whichever means they've made their money, but they're not vision carriers, by the process, by sharing money instead of sharing vision. And since we came on board, we're sharing vision and it's working. It is vision sharing that led us to you. After all, you didn't put a price to be heard on your program. Good. If we didn't have visions to share, we won't even bother coming to your program. Yes. Instead, we'll be in the street sharing money and sharing cap and sharing the things we are going to be sharing. We are on ground in markets and churches and mosques and all the outreaches. We've done our permutations, our posters and bills, and all are all going to roll out. But you see, as young people, our funding is coming collectively for other concerned young persons. And I do not say this without consideration to God who exists in heaven. I am not carrying myself by one big money bag somewhere. I'm carrying myself thus far by the collective support of young people, by people who feel like this ship can land. There's somebody in the studio here, he sent 20,000 a campaign and account. And there are a lot of young persons supporting us daily to keep our voices afloat. And we know that the more we make this impact, the less the people will gravitate towards stomach infrastructure and rather want to pick on something that will give them a lengthy life of affluence, splendor, and joy.
Okay, before I ask you of your manifesto, I'd like to know what will be your attitude towards governance if you don't win this election?
To be frank, I'm naturally a quiet person. I like to stick to myself.
But you still know that you were once an activist, like...
Activism is not noise making, mostly.
Okay.
I don't have to come to social media and make my noise.
Right.
I write. Okay. I postulate, you know. And so for me, I'll continue doing that which I have always done, which is the legacies of my late mother. My late mother never saw anybody suffering and she turned down the person. And so what I've been doing is, by God's grace, I'm today providing for more than 500 homes via my salary structure. If I improve on that and their lives get improved, well, until someone in government can make life better for all of us together, I could be doing mine in this regard. And I have outreaches, I have programs wherein I reach out to people, and I'll just continue living that such a legacy.
Okay. Now you have over 500 staffs. Can you tell me now, those 500 staff will vote for you?
I'm not an autocrat.
Okay.
They have their choices. If you call my staff individually, they'll tell you that I have never compelled them in the course of campaign. Yes, I have visited them to appeal for their votes. I don't tell them you must. I beg them for it. I'm trying to give them reasons why they should support me. But you see, I don't do it because I pay their salary and then I withhold salary and say, like, let's go and do rally. You know, if you don't do
You
rally,
must
I'm
come
not
for
going
the
to
rally.
pay.
Oh.
I'm not that kind of person. Yeah, among my staff, there could be some persons who are sympathizers of other political parties, or they have friends or relations from that political party. But it's only fair that since he who dictates, who pays the piper, dictates the tune, as they say, it's only fair that they look at our collective economy. We have a collective economy. What God is doing for us is also working for them. So it's only commonsensical that they support us on the basis of that, if they mean to do that.
Okay. With the current trend of economic and financial crisis globally, how would you mitigate the bane of inflation on food and security in Edo State within 1 to 2 years if you become the governor of Edo State?
I won't even get up to 1 year. Here's the thing. I've been around long enough and I've been suggesting to men and women in leadership position. Like I said earlier, I wrote to this current governor when he was chairman economic theme. I was proposing to him how to raise the GDP of Edo abysmally to a very high score. It is that some of us are blessed with ideas. My thought process is not limited to what I do for a living. I am a thinker. I'm a processor. I do a lot of study and I do a lot of expansions. You see, if we can raise the bar of what our economic life is currently to something it should be by leveraging on what's already existing, I think we'll create so much influx and increase the GDP of the state within the first 1 year.
Okay. Mr. Paul, with the current trend of economic and financial crisis globally, how would you mitigate the bane of inflation on food and security in Edo State within 1 to 2 years?
Thank you very much. I remember about 9 years ago, I designed an agricultural project, a program that was going to literally turn Edo State to Operation Feeding Nation. I was very particular on the modes of operation, and these modes of operations were schematized. And so I visited the agri-development program, the Bank of Agriculture. I visited the Oba Benin, and I discussed with him extensively what we can do very differently and very radical as well to get results and create wealth from agriculture. I remember the revered monarch then asked his palace to pray for me, and told me that wherever I go, I should tell people that he's the one that sent me. I feel like I've made a lot of sense in that regard. And so I have on my own personally designed an agricultural food project that can cause so much wealth and bring so much hard currencies back to Edo State, increasing the GDP of Edo State beyond tax collections and reliance on federal allocation. And this template of mine was the reason why I delivered a public lecture to Young Farmers Association about 3 months ago, and I told them extensively what this can portend to Nigerians. And of course, I'm on your podcast. This will take me literally an hour to talk extensively on what wealth is available in the agricultural space. But my Facebook page is there for people to peruse some of the videos that I've been dropping and been talking on. But let's not make any mistake about it. If you make agriculture the new Yahoo, quote and unquote, you create so much wealth. The easiest way to make agriculture the new year is to make it a project of so much incentive and results. When you use government policy to drive it, young people will come inside. Young people have never failed in whatever is available to them. They got the entertainment industry, they turned it into $1 billion entertainment. They got the tech industry, they turned it into something else. They got the fashion world, they turned it into something else. Give them leadership and you'll be amazed what they'll turn it into. So there is no restriction to the length and breadth of what we can do to increase the economic life of the people in Edo State. Like I said, we are just the ordinary people blessed with so much ideas, one that we have been sharing effortlessly. And we believe that if we commit to our agricultural project, we'll raise agriculture beyond what the current administration would describe from the Ministry of Agriculture as agriculture. We don't think it is result oriented. It has been mostly very infecund. And on security, which of course has cascaded into food shortage, you and I are very much aware, we are not oblivious of the fact that most of our rural communities just now are besieged by herdsmen. If you look at Ovia Federal Constituency, for example, wherein I would like to ask the House of Rep member who is currently the deputy governor candidate of his party there, I would like to ask him his security bills, because there are villages in his constituency currently overtaken by killer headsmen. The Odion has relocated to main city, and we don't see anything. That's sort of sacking of such 3 communities. I mean, there was a lot of buzz on it on Man Around Town radio program. The sack of those 3 communities removed the farmers who would have used the arable lands there to produce a lot of agricultural produce, and then bring to the city, exchange for monetary values, leave food here, go back there. But with insecurity, they couldn't do that anymore. So food shortage just now is very relative to insecurity. I would have also loved to ask staggering questions like the killer headsmen that are operating the Eastern Central Federal Constituency, wherein just now there is a senator representing the people there, and then the senator just now is saying they should vote for him because he's a senator. Would have loved to ask what has been happening to the killings and the senseless killings of the farmers, or the communal clashes occasioned by herdsmen and the farmers in those local communities. I built a program for security, and thankfully I have references. The likes of Dr. Carlo Shodisibo is a socialite on Facebook. He's my living witness. And then I was introduced to some persons. A senator in this city offered me 10 million naira to sell my agricultural my security project, because I don't patenting on this, this project. This project is so luminous that it's both boots on ground, which means we have men and women well sophisticatedly kitted on ground. But very importantly, I was leveraging it on tech as well. Every single person who already uses a cell phone that runs on the Android can secure their street. No criminal, I repeat, no criminal will even enter your street. If my security programs run in 2 million homes in Nigeria, Edo will be making 1 trillion naira in 12 months without relying on IGR and federal allocation. You see, we did not just postulate solutions to problems, but we know that for every problem solved, it can generate the attendant wealth. So when we tell you that the likes of us can make provisions for 1 million jobs every year, it is not how they do it, it is how we intend to do it. From the world of tech alone, I can show you arrays of jobs. The first time I went to Europe, an average young person will go to Europe and be taking pictures in the snow. I didn't. I was looking for deals and looking for business, and I got one. So I got this person in Manchester. They own the biggest fintech company in the entire United Kingdom. And I discovered that the head of human resources of that company was a Benin man, Francis Ehiobosa, an alumnus of University of Benin. And I've known him in my days of diploma in 1999-2000. And I went to that office and we struck a deal. That deal is such that young persons under me will begin to work remotely without going to UK. They will be controlling the software of those places. And it's not just that. There are vast, copious ways to create wealth on the internet space. Just now, content creation has become a major source of revenue. If you just learn drop shipping alone, you will know that you can stop girls from prostituting with their Android phone and data. They've been making a lot of money. There are avenues for you to write books online and critique books online. There are a lot of there are even gaming softwares online that state government needs to get license for their people for, because most of those gaming licenses, those games that generate wealth online are state licensed. You have to get as a state government. So when we say we will make provisions for more than 1 million jobs, it is not how they are doing it. It is how we intend to do it. On insecurity alone, what we propose is so luminous that there will be remote centers spread across the length and breadth of the city with hackers, coders, software engineers. See, if you want to beat a millennium thief, you go 2 steps ahead. You can't just put men and women and give them AK-47 and call them vigilante and expect them to curb serious crime. There will be boots on the ground. But how about an area surveillance wherein, for example, you are using GPS software to monitor a particular location? Because that's the software that I built. I propose to land drones in all the tall buildings in the 18 local government, and my drones will move within space of 4-3 minutes to point of call. And of course, the point of call is just a software that I built on your phone too. You just tap a panic button, the way you tap your WhatsApp, it opens, and then the drone is deployed. But very importantly, there are people now getting feeds on what's happening, because the moment we deploy the drones, we can be giving real-time information to the men and women on ground, mainly the vigilante, so they don't walk into an ambush. But I didn't stop there. In the software that I built, I weaponized my drone. My drone runs with a tranquilizer, wherein once we spot an assailant, the drone just keeps following. And because he or she is not so luminous with idea, doesn't know there's an area surveillance going on. And the moment we come close and we shoot our spring, it just immobilizes the person sleeps and is taken. No bullet was shot, no life was wasted, and then the criminal was apprehended. By the time we get technical with curbing crimes, you see, this senseless December killing of courtesan will stop, Because I propose that every home in Edo State, including the highways and byways and the streets, should have CCTV cameras powered by solar energy. Not only that, connected to a grid that is controlled by young tech minds. But very importantly, I made it commercial as well. You can get paid from securing your environment with your cameras and with your gadget that are placed in your house. And then, how do I pay you? I hear so far, because this government is shrouded in secrecy, nobody knows what's really happening, but information from the grapevine says that the state government takes an average of 900 million every month for our security vote. And assuming that is true, if your camera reports a crime, you get a portion of that money. You see, everybody gets working to ensure that they report crime. By the time an assailant, a kidnapper, or one who is coming to come and kill somebody in Edo State knows that before you drive through Ugbo Lagos, for example, you've been caught by 50 cameras or 100 cameras, you too will be cautioned. And here's the beautiful thing, I didn't stop there. In my proposition for security, I intend to plant metal plate detectors discreetly around the state. You will not even know they are there. And sequence every registered car plates to those metal detectors, which will now run as programs. When you drive into Edo State and the metal detectors detect your plate and the sequence is not in our database, you become suspect. And so there is a tail on you. Before you think of shooting a gun, there are security men around you. You see, what we're bringing is something new, something divine. And I said, somebody asked me, how are you going to generate that kind of money with this security?
Yeah, I was about asking you because this is cost a whole lot. No. And can you do this in 4 years?
That's it. It doesn't cost money. You see, what is good is good. What is bad is bad. When men and women who find themselves in leadership, they want to steal your money, they start telling you the big things they are doing, which ends up as white elephant projects. That's how they waste resources. Now, I built a software. The hardware don't even need government money. It's an alarm blaring system that I connected. All I need to do is just open up a PPP, wherein people will say, we want to own security applications and have these security networks in this local government, that local government. When they bid and they meet the requirements, we will levy security levies mandatorily, but it's not big money, just 1,000 naira. Meaning, if you stay in a 10-room apartment, 100 naira monthly. If you stay in 4 flats, 250 naira monthly. And it's sustainable, even if you say 1,000 naira for the next 5 years, it's sustainable. You know, if you stay in a duplex, 1,000 naira. So the guy, a month. Okay. So for the guy who stays in a duplex, is spending 12,000 naira for security at the end of the month. This kind of security that we've been trying to discuss since. The goal is to create a web of wealth while solving problems with insecurity. And now, as a governor, in my creativity, there is no governor across the 36 states of Nigeria who would want senseless killings upon his places. It's only that they are bereft of ideas on what to do. So they are using police, vigilante, hunters, And those who are perpetrating this crime have gone above their thinking. So they are actually decimating these men and women. So if I was a governor and you were a governor, if I come to you and I tell you that this is what's happening in my space, and I'm not asking you for any money, that's how they steal money. I'm not asking for any money. Just legislate that bill in the House of Assembly. If we run that across Nigeria, just imagine if it's just only 2 million homes that runs that application. 1,000 naira multiplied by 2 million, multiplied that by 12. You'll be looking at 846 billion naira already. And the cost, of course, they make money from downloads from Play Store. But here's another beautiful thing that goes with it. Digital advertising. The moment you have such web matrix where people are concerned because their Android phone is connected for security purpose, and of course when you are being kidnapped, you just tap to a goals as well. Everybody gets into such web matrix. So we beat Mark Zuckerberg in his Facebook and replicate a social platform where there is engagement between Nigerians and Edolites, where commerces can happen and Edo begin to bask in wealth from advertorial. So instead of strangling the people from billboards advertorial, control digital advertorial. There's so much wealth on those space.
Okay, now on education, what's your plan? Because I know you are the pioneer of Gorilla Brains, helping people pass WAEC, NECO, JAM without fraud.
Let me quickly say this, since we're in a political season, let me tip my cap a bit.
Yeah.
The University of Benin alumni.
Because sorry, before you answer, I think I heard that. I think the last JAM that was conducted in Edo State, I think they withheld Edo State for a period of time. They said that whether it was fraudulent activities or something, it was on the high side, so they had to do how would I call it? investigation on their results. So this is the first time it's happening in, I think. So what's your plan for education, for public schools, public education and everything? What's your plan?
That's it.
Yeah.
I wish we could open more can of worms so you know why I'm actually in this race. It is not the absence of fear of what they do, but it is the courage of what we can do. Some years ago, Investor Bini gave me an award as a person. And here's what they told me. That since you started operating these gorilla brains, we have noticed the number of persons who gets admission effortlessly, indigenous within Edo State, has increased, and we traced it to you. And then let me quickly reference to what you just said about the JAM situation. Well, JAM for a long time has not been accountable. I believe they failed the student because there was a mass, success rate. I use my students as case study. I don't only teach them, I inspire them. And I inspire them. I create shortcuts for them to beat admission and get into the very limited number of slots available. There's a program I created called Revelation Hour. It's not expo, you can go and ask. You will get all the JAM questions if you come to my center before you go to the exam hall. Because there is no question they will set that they have not said before. So I have a database that control possible examination questions and answers, and I give it to these kids to cram them,
and work with.
Cram them. Go and pass exam. Nigeria has become very challenged with less tertiary institutions to absorb the vast growing population. So you don't get caught up in the Nigerian drama. Go get ahead of the Nigerian drama. And so I do not subscribe that it was malpractice. I don't agree. I mean, they run CBT now, right?
Yes.
Is it possible everybody just did malpractice? That's impossible. And of course, the centers of CBTs have CCTV cameras. So why don't you pinch out those who perpetrated such crime if you allege that that's what happened and punish them for it? Why don't you look at the camera feeds and do that? Now on education. By God's grace, I'm a veteran in the field. I'm very passionate about how to create a very robust cerebral engagement for young people. Yeah. And so I've always known that examination is not the true test of one's knowledge. So people like me are actually trying to harness the ontology of knowledge. And so as far as the additional space of Edo State goes, my manifesto is too tight in that area, something I cannot even cover now, but it's on my page. But let me just quickly say something. Edo State government has borrowed $72.4 million from the World Bank in the last 7 years, and it was said that it was meant for educational upgrade. They have borrowed 126.5 billion naira from the World Bank, from the central bank, and it's a mark for educational upgrade. I've not said anything, but I'm saying, does the secondary schools and the basic schools in Edo State, to you, do they look like where such monies have been spent?
For the past years.
Yeah? Does it look like where such monies have been spent? Good. And I'll ask you to take your phone and Google public schools built by Borno State government. You'll be amazed at what you see. Yeah. And that's a Boko Haram ravaged state. That's a state that has an incomparable IGRO compared to Edo State. That's a state that doesn't even get from the oil derivation formula like Edo gets. So we cannot even compare in terms of federal allocation with Borno State. But go see what somebody who is passionate about delivering something to the common people is doing to education, because education is actually indeed the passport to the future. So if you say you love the ordinary men and women, you love the common men, like these big names are telling us that they love us, that's why they're coming to help us. The question I want to ask is that, why have you not been intentional about making the schools in Edo State a destination for other states to emulate? You see this SUBE program, it's just a white elephant project. It's not adding up or creating the needed impact just now. But let us go to the tertiary education space. You say you love the people. I hope you're aware that to pay school fees in Edo State School of Nursing is above $500,000.
Edo State School of Nursing, I'm not aware.
In Sapele Road. Oh, good day. I went there myself. I wasn't told. But do you know that it's so expensive for an ordinary man today to hope that one day his son will become a doctor?
Or a nurse.
Or a nurse, for attending Ambrosali University and Edo University, Uzari. These guys don't know how to create wealth. So they are fleecing on the people. As we speak just now, a man who has 3 children who are simultaneously growing and they're all entering tertiary institution and he doesn't have good money, he's going to die of hypertension. So we're actually not preparing for the future at all. We're denying people of the right to live a good life tomorrow. We're denying parents of the right to hope that their children will get better so the children can help them in their old age. The government of today is very insensitive to this. All you hear is MOU. But I dare to say that we don't need MOU. All we need is smart working ideas, something that other people can dive into. Like on healthcare, for example. I'm very concerned about healthcare. So concerned because 7 years ago I started building a healthcare program because I had lost my father to medical, the problems with the Nigerian medical space. The NMA was on strike in Edo State. So the time it took us to hustle a doctor from Delta State to Edo State to drive in, my father died. And he died at the age of 60. You're telling me, wow, you don't even know what I go through. How can I not even believe that those big boys and big men and women in the three political parties know what people like me are going through? Because just 2 weeks ago, I lost my mother to the same thing. I rushed my mother to UBTH. Her blood pressure was fluctuating. In an this situation, they're supposed to put her on a life support and then stabilize her. Go to accident and emergency ward in UBTH now. It's a site like they are building. There is nothing. There is no personnel. There is no equipment. So they put oxygen on her. And that's how she left. You're talking to somebody who Nigeria has happened to. You're talking to somebody that has lost the two most important human beings in his life. But today what gives me strength is that I know that my mother will want me to do what I can for other people and make life better for them. So this is me appealing to ordinary people. For the first time, stop worshiping these people. Stop worshiping these big names. They have never and they will never their big monies to come and help you. Instead, what they do is they collect more money. Go and look at what happened in Presco today. Edo State government should tell Edo people what they've done with Presco. You see, people like me are no longer afraid. If they like, let them send their people after me. God is my shield. But if I'm going to spend another 10, 20, 40 years in this life, I will spend it audaciously. That commonwealth belongs to me and you. It does not belong to those persons, to the Akpatas of this world. Neither does it belong to the Okpewolos of this state. Neither does it belong to the Asuegudalo of this state. These three guys I mentioned are even strangers and visitors to Edo State. They just come to do business with governance, and when they are done, they'll leave you and I in the erosion. I lost a vehicle to erosion in Useluche. They will never lose it. They are on private jets. While I was crying in UBTH for somebody to help me save my mother. If they have just small headache, to take private jet to London to go and take injection there and come back.
Okay, now amazing, Mr. Paul. Now, can you just tell the people of Edo State why should they consider you and vote for you to be the next governor of Edo State, considering the fact that you are young and your party, YPP, is relatively a new party?
Well, I won't answer your question directly, so let me give you some sort of scheme.
Okay.
Some time ago, somebody said to me that we don't need orators. These people can do the work. And I looked at him, I was like, you're a partisan politician, else you will not speak like this. And secondly, you are confronted with the idea just now that somebody such as I am, in this little capacity, is making more sense than your principal. Because oratory and the ability to enamor the people is part of leadership. You have to inspire people. Would you rather have your representative chew his mouth like somebody with hot yam in his mouth? And so to answer you, we are best suited for the job because we are young and savvy with ideas. It's the length and breadth of the operations of our mind is something that you can't put on a scale and measure. But the beautiful thing is this: when you make somebody who say vote for me because of my ideas governor, you are encouraging other micro-idealists to come on board. It's like you make a Tory governor. Tory will subsist in society. But when you make an idealist a governor, you will see ideas running around the city because they want to be part of governance. On top of which we are willing and ready to open up governance. No need to hide anything. I propose a directorate. If you have any ideas that can solve problems and create wealth, Just log on to the government portal directly. There will be people there waiting for you to receive your ideas. And then once a team sits on it and it says it's doable, it's actionable, it can solve problems, we don't care if you made third class, or if you are not eating food, or if you trek down to the place. What we care about is the seeds of creativity that is embedded in your ideas just now. This kind of government is better for the people. The government that doesn't have godfathers, nobody to service with the people's commonwealth. Instead, we all rely on God the Father to keep furnishing us with ideas, to keep driving this ship of leadership to a spot where every ordinary sons and daughter out there will yield a sigh of relief from the burden placed on them occasioned by poor leadership just now. We will not fight, because as we speak, they are fighting. And the more they fight, the more they settle with your resources. I hope you know during war, the merchants of war make more money. So the imbroglio that you have seen between the political space, right from the times of Adams Ali Oshomole and his protege Obaseki, and then Obaseki to his deputy Felix Shaibu. And of course, you know the war continues, because one is saying you debt with me like this, the other one they are saying you run the party like this, the other one is saying I own the House of Assembly just now. You see, it is those resources that will continuously be used as a fleeting gas to keep up this war. But you see, when you have a government that can solve problems, there will be less government interlocutors in the middle. There will be less state actors, non-state actors, because you can only thrive in such government when you come at the level of ideas. And he who carries seeds of creativity just now is much more interested in the results of the creativity that he or she carry than the brute who knows that by the barrel of the gun or by the force of fraternity can force the people and take wealth. So when you make these other guys governor, whatever you get from them, you bear it. But when you make us governor, whatever you get from us, you won't bear it. You'll be singing the praise of the Most High with it, because it's going to liberate you. The proof is not that we have done too much because we've not had the opportunity. But the proof is that the little that they've given to us, that we have been able to work for, we've expanded it. And you have said just now that he who is faithful in a little will be faithful in a lot. I grew gorilla brains from 5,000 naira borrowed to me by Professor Mrs. Ufeyin, who was the HOD of Animal and Environmental Biology in University of Benin then. I had walked up to her because she was an accessible professor. And I said, Mama, there's hunger in the land. But I'm not asking for stipend just now. I'm asking for help. At this level, I can function. And I can also gather other young guys to inspire the other younger ones. And I will take some monies for the process. And she said, well, how much do you want? 5,000. Printed bills with it as at then. And the publicity went mad, because I've always owed it as part of my core principle that if I cannot sell myself, you will not buy me. And so the publicity you see that ravage the length and breadth of Edo State, as far as Gorilla Brain is concerned, is coming from a point of desire to solve poverty without stealing. But come to think of it, today, that mustard seed has a total of 24 centers across the state, inspiring more lives, building more lives. And as we speak, that mustard seed has 5 schools, employing more lives, providing for more homes. And as we speak today, that mustard seed became impetus to have a bakery and a restaurant, car wash and laundry outfits, barber shops, gadget sales spot, and even advert billboard, investment company. It is that the little you've given to us over time, we have proven to have yielded results with it. But ask the governors when we started, the money they borrowed, if they solved problem and created wealth with it. No, more debt for the people. Because you and my sons and daughters will be paying this debt. And if you want to know that big men, they don't have our time, go and marry their daughter. Tell them I'm MC Dascent. I believe in my comedy. I'm comedy Berlusconi.
I'm already married, so
I'm just saying if you were single.
Okay.
I know you are married. I just make reference like that. Madam, I'm very sorry for that comment.
but okay, before you go, there's a lot of debt on ground already. So what's your plan? Like, there's no money. So how do you intend before we wrap up the show?
Who said there's no money?
Okay, so
first of all, generating IGR. As we speak, Governor Basiki himself opened up his mouth to say Edo State has moved from $19 million monthly to 26. Is it billion, million? One of those he said. Well, that's money. Where is it going to? What about the federal allocations that comes in? Where is it going to? It is how you use it. You see the way I use 5,000 naira to turn to what I have today. Hey, how long ago? How long ago? We are saying for the past 16 years, what are they to do with all the billion? Today, Edo is supposed to be running with industries or solving problems and getting paid for solving problems. Today, India became the world tourism destination, medical tourism destination. Doesn't that increase their GDP? It does. Today, India exports intellectual property such as animation to Hollywood. It's very expensive to get it done. So most producers in Hollywood do their animation in India. Is that not intellectual property yielding wealth? Do you know Edo can get intentional creating wealth? Anybody will say, if you want to learn this, go to Edo State. Instead of what they've christened us to be, they've christened us in social media, as we know, they agree, as troublemakers. In the next 10 years, in the next 20 years, before that same becomes 50, Edo can change the nomenclature to a global destination of healthcare. Healthcare tourism can become, because with my healthcare plan, Edo can actually become healthcare tourism. Edo can become the center of this sort of engagement where you say, if you're looking for content creators, go to Edo State. There is this school of content creation by veterans like that Saint, Edo PKM, Sikas, and the rest. These guys have shifted this space. But let me also insult your pride and your entertainers' pride as well. For any of them supporting these big men today, they should be ashamed of themselves. Here's why I said so. In the last Alagoda summit that was held in Edo State, wherein the current candidate of PDP, called Aswe Budalo, is a chairman. The MC that came and handled the program, where did they come from? Lagos.
I wasn't there, so
I know you were not there. They will not invite you. You don't have level. They invited MC Unbroken Pencil to come and handle it. Meanwhile, we have the likes of you. We have the likes of MC Casino and Edopiki. You guys have graced international stages.
Yeah.
FX, the last time I heard FX talk, I felt like another Osageduwa, IQ Osageduwa, of Big Brother House talking. But what happened to them? They went with who they know. Do you also know that the food they cooked, they brought it from Lagos? They started microwaving some part that got spoiled in that place. And then EJ Cuisine, they visited her and they were cooking in her place and she was happy. I went to her the next day, open your kitchen, I want to cook. Since it's cooking that it's raining now, I want to cook. And she started laughing. I want to cook. And I asked her, have they ever subletted, let's say, the meal for the bourgeois? Let's say Chinese cuisines, because you prepared this in your fine place. Have they subletted this to you in the past 7 years? But it's the guy that came to visit you that has been organizing this thing. And she was looking at me dumbfounded. I said about Mama Ebo that they went to go and visit on a Women Workers' Day, Women's Day. And they tried to make her feel like, we know. You know her work, but you have not been contracting food to her for the last times government have been engaging the public. Come, let's wake up, my friend. It is high time the ordinary people know that what will make them live an extraordinary life is not the big names. It is an ordinary man with extraordinary ideas. And then we can put it in government and all live happily.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Paul, for coming on my podcast. It has been interesting. It has been amazing. This is Mr. Paul Okungbawa of the Young.
Add Owoha. I'm a Benin man.
Okay, Owoha.
My brother is Odion.
Okay.
We are identical twins.
Wow.
So when you take Owoha away, it leaves people guessing what tribe is he.
Okay.
I speak Benin very well too.
Okay, so what you do now, the camera will be on you. You just tell your name, your party, and say, I want to be the governor of Edo State, and I want you all to vote for me and make me your governor. So, all right.
Edo people, now good afternoon, now good morning, now good evening, wherever now they hear the sound of my voice from. Now me, now brother, now Peking, Okungbawa Paul Owoha. And maybe that voice went on they talk for a long time for radio when they represent the brand, when they call Gorilla Brains. I know soon I would be surprised and say, from lecture to politics, not be so supposed to be no. The way it's supposed to be say when you get ideas, you enter government space. And we realize that the things when they package our head, you don't tell what they do, even before lecture. These things we actually work for government. Now we can decide, say, this time we'll get in because the proof don't they say, big man no get our time. As this time they had so, I happen to know say the president of the country now big man before he become president. As this time they had Edo people, so I happen to know say the governor of Edo State now big man before he become governor. But the question is this, they bring their money can solve our problems. No. Instead, we see the bad finger. So now make me come talk, say the things when God put for my mind. If we use government to driver, it will make all of us happy. It will make life a lot easier than as it be so. Our papa and mama know your trained children, they fear whether they'll become anything. Today, the biggest fear of parents is what their children will amount to. That in itself is heart-wrenching. That after all this suffer, one and don't suffer. Now, know your girl hope say it go better. So now they fear. Me they no go do ritual. Can't use me to do the ritual. Me they no go do fraud. Me they no go join gango. Because they don't dabaru the process when we take they select better leaders. Which I mean be say, when young people rule this country like those Samuel Ogbemudia, they prove and say, inside youthfulness, now in better capacity day. If we not give us this support, better in better number, in no bonge support. If this support quantize with proper election, they know if you rig. Election what did they rig? Now they will be like say you use 20 or 200, they pass the other one, they'll go package them for INEC. But if we carry 1 million voters come out in the next election and are basically young people in their life don't they waste. If we package and come out, this election no go let them win, no go let them win. Make una no fear. Whether now where people will come out from. Now the vehicle will allow ordinary people ride on them. Now be the Young Progressives Party. And that party just now the logo. You all go down the paper when they give you. Second to the last. Now why they start. You will see map of Nigeria. You will see white door open. You will see green person who live for inside the white door. That door will open so. Now door prosperity will want open. Door proper healthcare now want open. Ogbonge door want open for better education when no go quantize your pocket. When be say you know get you know if you train the children want open. Ogbonge door to massive employment now want open. Ogbonge door of massive infrastructural upgrade now want open. Because with the brain Akanuchi when we get, if we create this word when they talk, we fit triangulate the 3 senatorial districts with railway without waiting for federal government, waiting for IGRO. We no go use tax. They put it in a condition of taxation. Whereas they pay tax, rich things still they tight with you. We use our ideas, they micromanage the small one when government bring, spread and make everybody get joy. My name now Kumbo Paul Owohon. Make una support me with una mandate. Make una join us for the streets. Make una sing the hallelujah song. Say God picking person when God bless with idea. Don't enter leadership space. But I no get the money. Make una give me una support. Make una use una voice till they push me out there. So that the one they talk say they go blow out of steam before. So we no go blow out of steam. So that we no go gas out. Country people, God will bless una.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paul. And I must thank you all for listening to this podcast. You know, it's on my show, John Bosco, and it's actually a platform where everybody that's running for the governorship could come, be it big or small, come here and just air out what you want to do. Let the people of Edo State know their people, because all the candidates all are from Edo State. Nobody come from outside. So now we whether you win, you know win. The thing is that the winning we want to win is not the winning of say now my person I win. No, now Edo State I win, and we want the best for the state. So it's a platform where you just come, air your view and campaign, and it's going on for free. So please don't forget to help us share this video, make it go viral, share, drop your opinion, drop your contribution and everything. We are not known, we cannot be known for the degree. We should be known for intellectual capacity and for good things. Thank you guys. God bless you. My name is MC The Saint John Bosco. Have a nice day.